Warning to all Izzy fans, a 4-0 bomb is incoming. Get on the Alex train now or get left behind. I'm sorry, just kidding. It's a really close fight, and Izzy does have a really good chance of winning this fight. In fact, he is the favorite. And even though Izzy is 0-3, as a high IQ individual like myself, I don't just look at fight results. I look at the entire picture. You gotta watch the fights, and you can see that all of the fights was really ultra competitive. But at the end, I still believe that Alex is the more skillful fighter because he's the smarter fighter. Yes, he has his attributes like power and size. Hold the size thing. People over-exaggerate his weight on fight day and the weight disparity between the two, and they act like weight is like such a huge factor in the fight when it's really not. Because if that was the case, Costa, Vittori, Cannonier, and Dricus should be the top 4 fighters in the division. But no, they're not because they suck. Just kidding. But in the Izzy versus Alex fight, I had some people trying to argue that Izzy wasn't able to get the takedown because of the weight disparity. Although it is true that Alex is assisted by the extra mass with his takedown defense. If you looked at the technique of Izzy's takedown attempts, they were pretty bad. He would attempt trips while Alex had his back against the cage, and the high crotch, he would not get deep enough to even get a good attempt. Alex also did the right things by having a strong whizzer, keeping it tight, stuffing the lockdown. The failure of Izzy's wrestling isn't because of the weight, it's because of his technique. He's just not that good at grappling. And there is disadvantages of being a big weight cutter, dehydration, relative speed to the weight class, and cardio. So it wasn't an unfair fight. And if you say, oh, there's weight classes for a reason, well, he's cutting weight. He's killing himself before fighting Izzy. He's not walking in there at 240. But anyways, let's talk about the IQ and the strategy of Polton. So from Pereira's camp, here's the goal. Beat Israel Adesanya. How do we do that? Knock him out. How do we knock him out? Corral Izzy to the fence, force him to exit on the left side, and cut off that left exit with a left hook. And that's exactly what he did. Nothing about it was a fluke, and the tactics that he even used before successfully executing the game plan, he would check the kicks and kick Izzy's legs back, take away Izzy's best weapon, his leg kicks, and hinder his mobility with kicks. He would cage cut effectively, not follow in straight lines, and allow Izzy to draw Alex into good counter punches and take in the center. Alex made sure to stand his ground when he is controlling the center to keep that persistent pressure and keep Izzy backed up against the fence. And ultimately, it worked, and there was no fluke. And that's why I'm fairly confident in picking Alex Pereira again. Before their first matchup in MMA, I was fence sitting. Earlier, I was picking Israel Adesanya before the fight, and then I think the week before, I went back to Alex Pereira. And I was correct, not to flex. But I got all my answers on who was the better fighter, and I think Alex is. The game plan was good. The game plan was successfully executed throughout the entire fight. I know he was down 3-1 on the scorecards, but the same way, I recognize that the entire saga of Izzy versus Alex is very competitive, even though it's 3-0 Alex. That was the most competitive 3-1 scorecard I've ever seen. Alex was winning the first round fairly clearly until the very last second. If anything was a fluke in that fight, it was that moment right there. Izzy really didn't have to set up his shot at all because Alex was just in range and just came forward into him on a silver platter. And with 1 second left, he got rocked and was at the doors of the shadow realm after he got left hooked after the bell, which wasn't cheating, but it happened. Then Alex came back and won the second round, and in the third, he was winning that round until he attempted a very bad throw that he had zero leverage for and proceeded to lose the last half of the round. These mistakes are very easy to adjust compared to Izzy getting forced into the fence and cut off on the exit. But Izzy wins that round, and the fourth round was ultra competitive, but I had to lean towards Izzy. So in general, I know it was a 3-1 scorecard, but in terms of winning minutes, it was neck and neck. And that's another reason why I am fairly confident in picking Alex Pereira, because I don't need to fence it for this one now. There was no fluke, and the game plan has showed to be effective. Now, even though I am confident, there is a really big chance that Izzy wins. It's going to be a competitive fight yet again. And in my honest opinion, if Izzy wants to win, yeah, he can attempt the grappling again. Probably he got better, but Alex for sure got better on his defense and offense. But in terms of his strategy on the feet, I think Izzy needs to be the aggressor. That's why he almost took out Alex in their second kickboxing match, because he was the aggressor. And he also had a more narrow stance. Remember why Alex looks so much bigger? Because he was in a tall stance, while Izzy was in a big, wide bladed stance. That was very exposed exposed to leg kicks. So if he goes back to that narrow stance, he will have a better chance. Even though he'll be slower, I think Izzy's best chance is to knock Alex out. Just like that second kickboxing match. Be the aggressor. But even if he does follow that strategy and game plan, I will still pick Alex Pereira, but it will be a much even more closer fight than it already is. Alex himself can also attempt the wrestling too, so very intriguing matchup, but I'm gonna go with. And still, Alex Poatan Pereira 4-0. The favela has won yet again. I'm fairly confident, but I'm only giving Alex like a 55% chance of winning because Izzy is dangerous. He's very fast, very mobile, very smart on the feet, but that's the same thing that Izzy has to worry about, except that instead of speed, it's power. Both guys are so smart. Can't wait for this high level IQ kickboxing chess match with decent wrestling behind it. God damn, I can't wait. 4-0. Let's go, baby. Poatan season. Yart.